the Far Cry 5 Season Pass and post-launch content. In the first DLC, Hours of Darkness, you'll be dropped right in the middle of war-torn Vietnam. As Wendell Redler, you'll face Viet Cong, rescue friends, and if you've got the grit, get the hell out of there. For an encounter of the radical kind, look no further than the second DLC, Lost on Mars. Your mission is simple. Save Earth by stopping a full-on alien invasion and haul ass back home. In the third DLC, Dead Living Zombies, the deceased cease to be decreased as you and a friend melt wave after wave of zombie hordes in 7 scenarios imagined by B-movie director Guy Marvel. And for you Vaz fans out there, we're throwing in the full game of Far Cry 3 Classic Edition. How's that for the definition of insanity? And for all Far Cry 5 players, we've got a bunch of post-launch content as well. First up is Far Cry Arcade, where there's an endless amount of maps to play in solo, co-op, or PvP, created by Far Cry Studio, as well as players like you. What's more, this mode is constantly updated with new content and challenges. And introducing reoccurring live events. We're going to give you goals to unlock exclusive outfits, weapons, and kick-ass vault vehicles. Participate in the events, get the loot. So run those sweet little legs and get your season pass for the best deal we've ever offered in Far Cry. And stay tuned for all new content post-launch of Far Cry 5.
Far Cry 5 launches soon, but before that happens, we're taking a trip to the Whitetail Mountains to ride zip lines, snipe cultists, see the sights, and start some fights. The mountains are filled with stealth-friendly forests, massive cliffs for wingsuiting, hidden caches to uncover, and some of the toughest, most fanatical cultists in Hope County. The Whitetails are the domain of Jacob Seed, one of the cult's heralds and the brother of cult leader Joseph Seed. Jacob is an army veteran who trains wolves to become terrifying judges, and his presence looms large over the mountains. Only the strong survive is Jacob's mantra. Where his siblings at least try to convert the people they kidnap, Jacob is a lot less forgiving if he thinks you're weak.
Call the weak!
But he thinks you've got potential, so he throws you straight into a drug-fueled time trial through a hallucinatory training course.
Tick-tock.
Jacob and his goons aren't the only army up here, though. Meet the Whitetail Militia, who are just as heavily armed and shaggy-looking as the cultists, but aren't interested in kidnapping and murdering innocent folks. They're also secretive, and won't really trust you until you've done them a few favors. There's also Jess Black, a bow-carrying loner who'll join you as a gun for hire if you help her out with a vendetta against a flamethrower-toting zealot known as the Cook. Silent, scarred, and deadly serious, she's the ideal partner for a stealthy player. Less stealthy but no less effective is Cheeseburger, a tame bear and tourist favorite. Track him down and give him a couple salmon and he'll eagerly charge into battle alongside you, hurling cultists around like ragdolls. And if that's too subtle for you, there's always Herc.
You're that sumbitch Dutch who's going on.
No, not that Herc. This Herc.
So come on, man!
He may have commanded explosive-toting primates in Far Cry 3 and fought with the Golden Path in Far Cry 4, but his dad still thinks he's an idiot.
You're dumber than a box of shit.
That's okay. Not only do we love him anyway, but his rocket launcher is great for clearing out cult outposts whenever you decide to go loud. But if you want a really versatile partner, one who does everything you can do, covers angles you didn't even think of, and laughs at your jokes,
Nice.
consider playing Far Cry 5 in co-op. Not only does this let you inventively rip up Hope County alongside a friend, but you'll still be able to roll with a computer-controlled companion who will answer to you and do their best to keep up with whatever shenanigans you and your buddy get up to.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Just run him over with the chopper.
It's all coming your way on March 27th, when Far Cry 5 launches on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. For more updates on Far Cry 5, subscribe to this channel and visit us at news.ubisoft.com.
Hello my friends, welcome back to PlayStation Underground. On today's show, this is a very special episode because we are playing Far Cry 5 with Dan Hay, creative director on Far Cry 5, and Daryl Long, producer on Far Cry 5. Gentlemen, welcome to the program. We're all in a very interesting situation right now.
We're pretty much in a porta potty. Right?
We're in a confined space.
Very confined. It's cozy.
But we are in a new area that we have not seen a lot of in Hope County, Montana. And Dan, you want to walk me through a little bit what we're seeing?
Sure, yeah. So basically what we're looking at right now is that this is a whole new region that we've sort of brought for people to play today. And this is Jacob's region. He's the older brother of Joseph. And he's much more the militant side of things, right? And so you head up north and you head into Jacob's region. He's got troops up here, he's got people that he's training, and there's also a militia in this space that are the good guys that basically you're going to be able to find them, you're going to be able to get their help, and as you build the resistance meter against Jacob, that resistance is going to be key into pushing back on the cult.
Yeah, that meter is kind of paramount and meta to the entire experience, right? Is trying to push back on this cult.
It really helps define sort of how you're doing and the organic nature of the game.
And Daryl, is it nice to see all this in motion after so long?
Man, it's beautiful. So good.
I've never seen anything so beautiful in my life.
You can hear it in our voice. We're so happy.
It makes me cry.
Yeah, during the time of this recording, we are, I would say, perilously close to your launch, and it must be kind of wild to be at that position. So
it's great. I mean, we know what the game is, and we've been hanging on to it for so long that you get to a point where you just want to show it and let the game talk, right? Yeah. And so we're here. You're able to play it. You're able to see all the cool stuff.
Or in this case,
horrible, terrible stuff.
Yeah,
yes,
terrible
exactly.
Things.
No, but it's great.
Walk me through this area, this station.
So we're way up north right now, and I think you're on. So this is the radar station at the top, and I think what Max is about to do is jump in here, take this place out, and actually go after a radar tower. And then I'm assuming what he wants to do is see if he can get a chopper.
He can hear us, so luckily.
Yeah. Go ahead, Max. Do what you want to do. It's not a prescription for success at all.
And Max is fully loaded with the artillery here. Okay,
so
we are not
going loud.
Apparently stealth is
stealth is out the window.
This is more of a window into Max than it is the game right now.
I usually try and start with stealth, and then things really careen off the rails for me very quickly. But that's something that you were telling us earlier today, Dan, is that Far Cry 5 very much a game that you play how you want to play. You can go fish, you can go hunt, or you can go, liberate giant stations very loudly, as we are doing now. Daryl, how does the team sort of balance all that out and kind of keep things fun for the stealth users, keep things fun for people who like to use the artillery? What does that look like from the inside?
Well, the key thing is that the AI reacts to how you play. The whole,
oh my God!
That could not have been better.
Everything stops right there.
Wow! Yes, best
all
part
kinds
of Far
of
Cry
AI.
5. That was the guardian of this station, and we have vanquished it.
That worked really well.
Sorry, Daryl. Please continue.
I have no idea what I was saying anymore. I lost everything to the Wolverine.
It totally happened right there.
And how you play the game, the game reacts back. So right now, I mean, we're towards the beginning of the game, and the AI is difficult. The cultists, they're the base level of cultists. But if you were to come back to the same outpost later on through there we go. That's
Very
done.
nicely done.
Try not to be too efficient.
Yeah, you played this game before.
Beautiful throw.
Not the first time. But if you were to come back to this outpost later on, there would be different enemies there. There'd be more advanced enemies that are harder to fight against, and they have new tactics to use against you. So the whole time you're playing, the AI is reacting to how you play.
And I don't know if Daryl, you also want to speak a little bit to the Guns for Hire system, because do we have someone with us right now,
Absolutely.
or is that well, that's just our co-op partner, but
that is a friend for hire.
Yes. Okay.
So the thing about the Guns for Hire is, and Daryl's right, like when you're playing the game.
Wolf.
Oh, there's a wolf coming. Look out, dude.
And you're dead.
And you're dead, Max.
Cling
You're
to life.
Never gonna hear the end of it. Ever. Oh, and the wolf is just okay.
No, we're showing the
back.
audience how this is a dangerous open world situation.
Yes.
Yeah, but finishing the radar station on your back, that's not the way you want to be remembered.
Max is not mic'd up. You can see his face.
We have congratulations, though. Be it wolf deaths or otherwise, we have accomplished our mission here, so that's good. All right, so here we are. We are getting a beautiful look of some of the open world right now. We successfully, with some wolf death, liberated that.
There was a healthy dose.
A healthy dose.
Yes.
And now we are heading towards a giant cheeseburger filled with cheese.
Yeah.
This kind of blew me away, Dan, when you were telling me about what's in, I think what I'm in store for here. I'm excited to see because I haven't seen this yet in game.
Well, this is pretty cool. This is basically the Fang Center. It was originally there for animals and whatnot, but also you see this giant cheeseburger statue because Cheeseburger, the bear that we have as a Fangs for Hire in the game, is actually quite famous in Hope County, right? And you have an opportunity to go and see if you can find Cheeseburger. And the whole time, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can do around the world to actually look for.
That was
look at
graceful,
that.
Max.
You can also just decide to arbitrarily jump out of helicopters and land in the middle of the Fang
This
Center.
is Max's stealth approach.
Wow, Max. All right, so here he goes. I'm going to jump in. We're
co-op partner hanging out.
Following the co-op partner. Leaving your partner to take the Fang Center by themselves.
You couldn't ask for a more organic
seriously.
playthrough of this section of the game.
Yep.
Love it.
Holding nothing
and
back.
we're back in.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt too. All right, you're in.
So we are going to try and take this by force after, I'm going to say a helicopter death.
Yeah, we'll call it that.
Blame the helicopter.
Yeah, gravity death. And it's great. It's so I'm just looking at all the little micro play spaces that your designers have built in here. Think like these little interiors, fences that you can get into.
Yep.
I mean, it's just incredible the amount of environmental diversity here that you have to play with. And this is, of course, just one part of a very larger open world map.
We wanted
incredible.
each location to have its own personality, right? To have a history. You could look at it, you could understand this is where they kept animals. And to be honest, if you were going to go and experiment on animals, this is probably where Jacob would go first, right? And then they managed to be able to save. Oh, now they called in reinforcements, but you got co-op partners going to go toe-to-toe with them.
Reinforcements on this outpost are tough. I mean, they're
are.
not messing around with this one. These guys going in loud like that, they're picking a good fight. Or a bad fight.
Would you say that stealth affords a, I don't want to use the word easy, but a smoother play of the game, or does it really come with its own challenges?
I think, Daryl was talking about it earlier, is that if you're playing with Guns for Hire, there's no question that if you have Boomer with you, and Boomer's pretty much like this organic drone, you can go in and there's a lot of things you can do to start to be able to tag people and understand what's going on, and then you can initiate Boomer if you want. If you want to play stealth, you want to use Jess, you can do that. And there's no question that it affords the ability for you to be a little bit more intentional with your gameplay, but you also can just go in and raise hell if you want, cause all kinds of trouble, but it also depends on how the game is going to get pushed back on you. If you make enough of a ruckus, what's going to happen is the game's going to send more AI after you, and it's going to cause all kinds of mayhem.
All right, so congratulate, another liberation.
Took it, and we start to see the resistance start to push back in, and the whitetail, the militia, actually start to push back in and take over the area, and start to push back against the cult. So there you go, famous Cheeseburger t-shirt right there. Everybody in the world knows him.
Everybody in the world, from the far reaches of international waters, Cheeseburger the bear, known.
Absolutely.
Taking an outpost opens up new opportunities to you as well. As you move through the area, as you create new range for the resistance to take over, you're going to see new opportunities pop up. And in this case, we've got Wade, he was the owner of the Fang Center, and the guys are going to go talk to him in a minute. In this mission, so what Wade explained is that in order to get Cheeseburger, you're going to need to feed him, to win him over. So now the guys are going to go fishing, and they're going to try and catch some salmon.
Oh, this is the best. It's a whole palette of gameplay colors that I can paint with, you guys.
If you were going to go capture a bear, what would you need? You're going to need salmon.
A cheeseburger. Oh, salmon.
There you go. So you go get the salmon and you're good to go.
Well, that's the thing. He can't eat cheeseburgers anymore because he's diabetic.
Oh, of course. Of course. I'm glad that we have the bear's health in mind.
Absolutely.
It's paramount.
Watch out for that.
Oh my gosh. Oof. And this is great. And this, obviously that cultist truck was not part of the plan. It was just that it happened to be there in your path.
Yep.
You never know what's going to happen in this game. There's always something new being thrown at you.
I'm watching this right now, and as I said at the top of the show, I haven't seen this section of the game, but I just don't understand how games like this are made, because they're so big and there's so much going on, and I don't mean to gush, but that's ridiculous. It seems like something like this of this size would take decades to build leaf by leaf. But you guys do not take decades. You actually have a substantial amount of time less than that.
There's no question it's challenging.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to be thinking about how all the systems collide. You got to be able to have moments like this where you can walk up and you can fish. You have the opportunity. The open world can still mess with you, right? And as developers, we don't know what's going to happen, right? We have no idea.
Oh, yep,
Very
there
nice.
Make sure you finish that.
Very nice.
Sometimes I find myself like I'll be playing the game and I'll have a certain objective in mind, and next thing you know, I'm hunting ducks.
Yeah.
And I'm not even doing what I was supposed to be doing, and an hour later I'm thinking, oh, I should be at home with my family, but instead, I'm still hunting ducks.
That, could be a back of the box quote. I should be at home with my family.
But I'm still hunting
But I'm still hunting ducks. Great. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks, on PlayStation Underground.
So the fishing system, actually, the challenge is dynamic as well. Depending on...
You guys put everything in.
Yeah, we really did. Depending on where you are, the type of fish that you catch, the challenge is going to be difficult. And in this case, this salmon obviously clearly does not want to be caught at all. Max is struggling hard with it. I think soon he's going to jump out of a helicopter and die on it.
We're making life as difficult
Poor
as
Max.
possible from...
You lost it.
You know what's interesting though? You build a game like this with this many systems, this many things that can collide, and then you take it to E3 and it's got an earnest story, it's got great moments, and then you realize people are just going to spend half an hour fishing. That's all they want to do is fish, and that's okay. That's how they want to play it.
Yeah? Do you feel like, are you going to be able to go to sleep at night at the end of the day if someone buys your game, which your team, sweat, blood, and tears for years, and all they do is fish?
I need sleep.
Okay.
So yes, I'm going to be just fine.
I love it. And even things like the way the water is reacting inside the... I mean, it's great. I love it. Oh, we caught a salmon.
There you go.
Don't throw it back. 13 pounds. There you go. I know nothing about fishing. Is that a lot? Is that a giant? Is that a big fish?
Not bad.
Okay.
Okay, it's okay.
It's okay.
We're trying to be nice.
Just can't give Max an inch. Not an inch.
Oh, I feel terrible.
All right, so now Max has got to go and grab a vehicle or and boost over and head over to basically find out where Cheeseburger is.
You can see Max is getting perk points right now because he's completing different challenges. In that case, he caught the salmon that finishes a fishing challenge. So now he's got a new perk point, and with that perk point, he can go in and unlock new skills that'll make him stronger. There's a whole huge variety of things, from personal upgrades like better weapon handling, things like that, all the way to upgrades for your guns for hire.
Ooh.
Some muscle.
I was not expecting a car of this type out in Hope County, Montana, but here we are. Can you turn up the heat in this car, please? It's,
The thing that we spent a lot of time on was the music in the game.
Yeah.
And you get into a car and you're in Montana, you expect to have classic American tunes, you expect to be able to have that, so the music is almost a character in the game.
Yeah, we talked about that, I think, last time, how, especially as someone like myself who loves like blues and bluegrass, there's just a lot, there's a great tapestry in Far Cry 5 that, as you say, it adds character.
There are times actually when I'm at the office, I'm working on something, and I'm listening to the cult music, and that's when you know they've got you.
Daryl, do we need to have a conversation
We'll
afterwards?
hear people whistling it, right?
Oh, really?
People and it's in their head. It's Inception.
Oh no.
Is that you or Julian? Because your aim is terrible. Civilians are going to be turning against you if you keep it up.
Daryl is relentless on Max. Oh my God.
You guys will never want to record this show with me again.
Oh, it's great. It's good. It's just funny because truly, you can tell we have no idea what's going to happen because it's completely organic. So we're watching it and just trying to figure out what's going to happen next. Oh, I know what's going to happen next.
Oh, no, he got up from that one.
Can you cling to life or be resurrected? Oh.
Is your guns for hire?
The guns for hire is going to do it, maybe.
Hooray, thank you. Many thanks.
And you got the supply vehicle for it.
Many thanks. We survived.
So just jump across.
Swim. Now, is this when a giant shark comes to eat us? because the luck that we've had so far.
Yeah, at this point, nothing would
I'd expect a
surprise me.
helicopter to come and land on Max.
Somehow the entire river just ignites in flames. Gosh, the amount of foliage that's in these areas too.
That's why we went there. It's got to feel real.
How long did the team stay, or how many trips?
2 weeks we were there, but there were multiple trips.
Multiple trips,
Meeting different people, gaining a sense of the place, really trying to understand the feeling of it. And I think what's super cool is we've actually talked to people who are from there, and they're like, oh yeah, this feels really familiar. It feels good. So I think what Max is going to do now is they're going to jump in and basically try and clear the spot out and see if they can find Cheeseburger.
I love that that's the end goal of this video, is finding a bear named Cheeseburger.
Yep.
Find
Only the finest entertainment for our audience. Okay, so let's see if we do the stealth route.
Yeah, they are trying stealth.
I'm interested to see. Ooh, look at that slide.
Yep.
Watch out.
It's very subtle, hiding in the bushes.
Oh, careful. That system is great, by the way. It gives you a bit of leeway of making mistakes it's without ruining your entire stealth operation, which is what I do every time.
Well, even when you do blow stealth, sometimes you can retreat back, wait a little while. The AI never really entirely calms down because obviously they know that something happened. There we are. There's the cheeseburger.
We got it. We got it, guys.
Here is my salmon of 19 pounds.
13.
It's worse.
Cheeseburger, please do not kill us. Oh my God, he's so
Gonna have a moment here.
He's so cute. Aww.
Do not try this.
Oh my gosh, yes, please, everyone watching, never, ever try to pet a bear.
Don't do this at home.
I don't care if you're a trained professional or not.
And here we go. Cue the mayhem.
Oh, this is when the mayhem starts?
Yeah, this is when they start to realize, wait a second, you're going to take Cheeseburger. There's no way. They were looking for Cheeseburger themselves, and now you're about to go toe-to-toe and see Cheeseburger in action.
Just leaping into the front. Right onto the barrels. Good aim. Good aim.
Cheeseburger is a tank unit, so he's going to take all the aggro for you, and you can pick off the enemies from a distance.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Now, what we're missing is the music for this. It's one of my favorite. The music is awesome. It's just a carnival. It's a symphony of mayhem.
They'll get that. The audience will hear. We're just not privy to it in our small.
Oh, nice, Max.
That was beautiful. That was almost enough to redeem oneself. Oh, careful.
Attacking from both sides. Watch out, guys.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Nice shot.
Nice.
Double
oh
kill.
my God.
All right, these are some VIPs also. They're a lot
looks
tougher
like a
than
couple of
the
them got
normal
bliss
units.
on them.
Using every tool at your disposal. There's so
comes
much
Cheeseburger.
going on. There's dynamite being thrown. There's a bear running through the fire. Like
Someone just blew up the bear.
No, Cheeseburger.
Oh,
Cheeseburger.
nice.
Made it.
She does not look happy.
Yeah,
with
No.
that.
she's
Like,
Man,
Max,
I need to
even-
come rescue
even
you.
the
Could you
co-op
keep
character
it
is saying,
together?
Max, pull it together, buddy.
We're gonna need Max to sign a waiver about releasing this footage.
All right, you did it.
That's it.
Nice.
Nicely done, boys.
So now you got the option to basically have Cheeseburger as a thanks for hire.
Awesome. It's fantastic.
Cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a rather wonderful look at Far Cry 5. Dan, Daryl, thank you, Max. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, Max.
Dan, Far Cry 5, when can we play it on PS4?
You're going to be able to play it on the 27th. Basically, March 27th, everybody's going to be able to play it.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And folks, thank you for watching. And until next time, this has been PlayStation Underground. We'll see you soon.
You don't know her. How she digs inside your head.
I know you've heard stories about me. That I'm a liar. A manipulator.
Okay. Don't move.
Let me tell you a different story. There once was a young woman who wanted to die. And then she met the father. The father showed her how special she was. She was full of love and life. He gave her a new family, one that accepted her just as she was. The young woman no longer wished to die.
Take it easy.
She had been given purpose.
Don't move. I need you calm and still.
Something is coming. You can feel it, can you? We are creeping toward the edge, and there will be a reckoning. That is why we started the project, because we know what happens next. There they are, the locusts in our garden.
I have a warrant issued for your arrest on the suspicion of kidnapping with the intent to harm.
God will not let them take me.
My parents were the first ones to teach me about the power of yes. One night, they took me into the kitchen and they threw me on the ground. And I experienced pain after pain. I looked up at them. I started to laugh. All I could say was, yes. It takes courage. Courage to own your sin, to etch it onto your flesh and carry its burden. So who wants to go first?
The world is weak, soft. We have forgotten what it is to be strong. We let the weak dictate to the powerful, and then we are shocked to find ourselves adrift. Now, the collapse is upon us. And this time, the lives of the few outweigh the lives of the many. We will cull the herd. We will do what needs to be done.
Welcome to Hope County. It's a nice, quiet little place.
Every now and then a storm might roll in, make a mess.
Well, there's always something to do on the farm.
Of course, there's the occasional bar fight.
But for the most part, nothing ever happens around here.
Anything can happen. Everything will. Far Cry 5, available March 27th.
I was chosen by God. I have apostles. I help the blind to see. I save souls. But unlike the chosen one sent before, God will never let you take me.
This world is on the brink.
Don't you understand what we're trying to build?
And now, the collapse is upon us.
We will take what we need.
We will take you, willingly or not.
Begin the reaping!
The cult stealing our land, kidnapping our friends. This is our home. Your grandfather built this place.
I thought if we could just hang on, Eden's Gate would just go away. But they won't. They've been waiting for somebody to kick off their goddamn holy war. You need to build up resistance.
Make no treaty with them! And show them no mercy.
If we stick together, cult will never break us.
What God gives, no man can take away. No one is coming to save you.
The world is going to hell out there. Eden's Gate is the center of it all. You want to get out of here alive? Gotta make them feel the pressure. Sabotage their plans. Destroy their convoys and their guard stations. You'll remember, the more you play with their nerves, the bigger their reaction. And nerves, they've got lots of it.
You got me down on the killing floor.
I got friends out there too. Good people. They're ready to resist. All they need is a spark. The more you help liberate a region, the more the resistance meter will fill up. And the more resistance means more people who fight by your side. They want a war. Let's make sure we don't disappoint.
Every time we get asked questions about the game, right, and we're asked, you know, what's your favorite part of the game or what's going to happen next as you're playing, the truth is we don't know, because the game is organic. It pushes back on its own. I can't give you super hyper specifics on this, but what I'll tell you is that in previous Far Cry's, I think we had about 18 to 20-ish characters that you'd meet.
Yep.
And just on the Premier side of things, we're over 65. And just in terms of the rest of the world's incredibly deep, so I don't honestly know just how many characters there are, but everybody has a job, everybody has a purpose, everybody has an opinion, and everybody wants to contribute to you fighting back.
I'm gonna keep on fighting. Thanks.
But what's really interesting is watching people play the game, and then after a little while they start to realize, wait a minute, I can mix up my squad. I can play with the guns for hire and the fangs for hire and the combinations, and they know each other. And some of the banter between them is amazing.
Just watch this hustle.
Imagine all that, but with a buddy, like a co-op partner. So I just like dropping in the middle of nowhere and flying around while you're driving, because obviously you won't be flying, I'll be flying. So I'm flying around, you're driving in your muscle car with your 70s soundtrack, and it's...
70s soundtrack, I mean, why is that a bad thing? That's an
amazing thing.
My son can't appreciate that here, but it's amazing.
No, but it's great, and honestly for me, one of the best feelings is literally to be up in the skies and just exploring and discovering Hope County. Like obviously wildlife always played a big part in a Far Cry game. The one little vicious animal that I hate to find, and especially hate to hear, is the Wolverine.
Yeah, the skunk's not fun though, dude.
What?
The
I don't know.
skunks.
Have you heard
Dangerous.
the Wolverine? I've been like...
What does it sound like?
Oh, this is gonna be good. Wait for this.
That's literally what the Wolverine sounds like.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. You understand?
It's vicious. Vicious is the
Oh,
word.
I can't. It's like Christmas every day when he does stuff like that.
We wanted to put as much freedom as possible into the hands of the player. So just making sure that, you know, you step in any situation and you're really free to approach it in a certain way.
And play the game in a way we hadn't decided was the right way to play it. It's super cool to see.
Get down! Yeah!
People are talking about this. Like, why is the car on fire? Because it's awesome.
It is. Dangerous, awesome.
Yep.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to PlayStation Underground. On today's show, a very special guest and game. We have Far Cry 5, and I'm joined by the game's creative director, Dan. Hello, sir, and welcome back to the program.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's great.
Thank you so much for traveling all this way for little old us.
Well, the weather's a little better here than it is in Montreal right now, so I'm happy to be here.
So I am already upset to see that these cows were the victims of an exchange that we're going to have between our hero and some opponents. But tell me a little bit about where we are in the game right now. This is, you know, you're showing a larger take on a whole region of Hope County, correct?
Yeah, for sure. So I think, you know, people who are kind of looking at this again after seeing it at E3 or Gamescom are sort of wondering, you know, how big is the region? And we really want to showcase just how lush it is. So you're just sort of outside the area that's known as Falls End, this little town. And we've got you sort of being able to bomb around and do stuff. And obviously the cult is out there, and you got to be careful. But we want to be able to surround the world with tons of stuff that you'd normally see: cars, different vehicles you could pick up. If you want to get into a classic American muscle car, you can. But that the world's dangerous, and that you know, you're going to have to look around for people that you can kind of bring into your group, into your squad, and kind of push back on the cult, because we built this rich, organic world that really does push back based off of what you do right there. Awesome.
It's an unfortunate.
It's super good. See, this is the kind of stuff as a dev, we're like, hey, look, we hope we have the collision of systems, and when stuff like that happens, it's just, you can't help but just kind of laugh. It's fantastic.
And I will point out that it maybe if this is a viewer's first time seeing Far Cry 5, which is coming to PS4 on March 27th, by the way, this is, you are essentially a, I kind of want to say resistance fighter. You're battling a cult that has taken a grip on a small town, as you were describing. Well, a big town, a big lush town.
Yeah, a huge space in Montana.
But anyway, yeah, continue. So we're, are we going to see a little another exchange coming up here?
Well, this is the kind of thing that we want to do, is that we know that the cult is out there, and we know that, you know, you're going to start building this resistance, and the way to do that is there's going to be hostages that you can liberate, take some of these civilians, bring them out, go toe-to-toe with the cult, you know, and then when you do, you're able to get intel from them, because I think, you know, typically people who play Far Cry in the past have seen us sort of, you know, you climb towers, and that's how you inform your play throughout the world. And this time we wanted it to feel like just regular people, right? You meet people, you see them, you see what's going on, and you get an opportunity to, there's one right there, picking up a weapon. It's, you know, some people are going to help you, some people are going to be scared, but that there's a real interesting thing that happens then the social contract between people in the real world, where you go up and you talk to somebody, and then they give you information, and they may not have all the information. And if we build our world to feel like that, it just feels real.
Now, I don't know if this is too under the hood, but I just saw that Susie's name came up as you spoke with her. Now, is she a set, like a written NPC? Is this just a random NPC that could have happened to be there in that moment? Like,
yeah, so we wanted to blur the lines between the sort of the random and the set. And so what we really said was, is like, everybody's got a purpose, everybody's got a little bit of a history. So even though Susie may not be somebody that is a large player in the story, she's still somebody with a personality. She has opinions. Yeah, here we go. Like, why? Why not?
Oh my goodness! Oh, just drive right by it though.
Hey, you know what? There's going to be times where I'm just going to stop talking and let the game talk to itself.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you know, we wanted to make it so that there's variety. There's an opportunity to have regular people who maybe, you know, aren't going to pick up a weapon and help you. But then at that point, you're able to turn to Susie and say, hey, listen, you want to join? You want to fight with me? And you can. She's in the car. She's going to come with you. She's going to have opinions about stuff. And you're just going to go out there and have a great time together.
I don't know if you're allowed to say, but is Susie going to then permanently join the roster, or is she at the whims of fate and she could potentially be, you know, downed in combat?
The whims of fate.
I know, you like
the
that?
way that sounds.
I wanted to avoid something really dangerous.
No, that's really good. That might be my next band name or something.
The whims of fate. Do it.
I like it.
I'll take you are welcome to take it.
Thanks, dude. That's awesome. I think what we wanted to do is make it so that, you know, we had characters like that, and if eventually they do, you know, die, that they're gone. But you do have the opportunity to bring them back, right?
Okay.
You do have the opportunity to do that.
Okay. More animals on the side of the
road.
Animals. A lot of wildlife already we've seen. We've seen like 3 sets of wildlife.
Yeah, it's lush, right? We want to make it so when we were in Montana, we actually saw all this stuff there. It was really cool for us to see how just alive the world is. So we wanted to have that experience for the player as well.
Oh,
that was a narrow miss.
Also, you could have accidentally started hunting in that moment because the deer just sprinted by.
That was an awesome shot on that guy, but the deer was very, very close.
Lucky or unlucky deer. I'm not sure where that deer falls. Yeah. So it seems like we've rescued another civilian. So far, we're just a good old-fashioned hero.
Yeah. And so I think it's cool because, you know, you got the opportunity to go talk to somebody, and I think she's got a side mission right now that you can go do. Or you can see off in the distance, there's actually the symbol for an outpost, so you could go take the outpost. But there's just all these little moments in the world that are alive that are organic. And to be honest, you know, when we design it, it's kind of interesting for us because they're organic, we don't know what's going to propagate. And so it's entirely up to the player how they want to play it. Maybe you've met Susie, maybe you haven't. Maybe you've got a different guns for hire. Maybe you've got a premier guns for hire. Maybe you got a fangs for hire. You got boomer with you. So it's really interesting for us to kind of sit back and watch it live.
Is it really called Fangs for hire because of the dog?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who came up with that one?
I don't remember, but I'm taking full credit.
Take full credit for everything. You designed the game yourself.
There you go.
And shoot, I was going to ask something about the wildlife again, but Is there, does the wildlife and just in general some other, this other tapestry of Hope County, does that play into side activities?
For sure.
I mean, hunting and other, I don't know if there's fishing.
There is.
Usually games like this have fishing.
Yes, there's a lot of
Don't
fishing.
disappoint me.
So, and that's the thing that we saw at E3 is like, you know, we build this really earnest game, this opportunity for you to go in there and be the hero, and people just go fishing and decide they're going to do that for like 2 hours, and it's like, okay, you know what, play the game the way you want to play it.
Sir, you need to get off the demo.
No, I haven't got the one I want.
Fishing.
So yeah, so like this is a good example. Here's an outpost, and if you played Far Cry 3 or Far Cry 4, you know this, and in Primal you know this very well, the sort of the situation that you're in. But we've kind of made it so it's very much alive. And then what's really nice about this is that you're going to be able to go in and have the play style you want. So there's opportunities. Whenever we build an outpost or we build elements of the game, we really think about freedom, opportunity, and surprise. Right? The freedom to be able to attack this outpost the way you want. All kinds of opportunities, different guns, you know, different weapons, different ways of aggressing the situation. And then the surprise that it may not always go the way you think, and we'll just see as it happens.
That is literally every time I try and play something stealthy or strategically, it always goes to hell immediately. Immediately.
Yeah, but he's doing pretty well here so far. Taking him out one nice shot.
Oh, is this a silenced weapon?
Yes, so they don't know.
Yes. Little do they know that they are under attack.
Correct.
You know what? I remember what I was going to ask you is, does our protagonist have like a name identity? Is it a kind of a nameless protagonist?
Well,
how have you guys
what we've been trying to do is moving towards something that's really lean, right? What I don't like is when I'm playing a game and the game doesn't communicate what my emotions are or my feelings are. So in this case, we've got. I'm just watching.
Brutal.
Just watching it happen. What we've got is a player character that's super lean. So you have an occupation. But from the standpoint of who you are, it's who you pick.
Right. Absolutely. All right, so
now they know.
Now things are escalating.
Now it's on.
Escalating quickly.
Yep.
Tension's rising. I don't know if in this footage we're going to see our protagonist downed at any point. We'll find out.
You may.
See, this must be really fun for level designers, having these little pockets of indoor space mixed in with the huge sprawling outdoors. Because that creates little, interesting points of cover and wrinkles to that combat.
The thing that's interesting is that as you're building this stuff, a lot of the designers, you're looking at the distance from the road. Everybody kind of, that's the challenge of building something that people feel like they know. I think one of the challenges of coming to the States is that people just understand how long a driveway should be, what feels right,
Okay, true. Yeah. As opposed to other Far Cries, which featured more, let's say, exotic locations for an American audience.
Right.
But here, it's like, this is very familiar.
Yeah,
to people.
A door should be a certain size.
Right.
The steps should be. There should be even branding. Like the world is just filled with branding.
I think I looked away for a moment, and the outpost was liberated.
Yeah, they liberated it. So
in a blink of an eye.
That's right. So then basically, what you got here is now that your legend is starting to grow. And the people in the region are starting to understand that you are pushing back on the cult. They're going to start to join you. And this is where you really see the resistance meter and the resistance start. Where now this is no longer a cult outpost, this is yours. And you've got people there that can give you quests, you've got side missions, you've got main missions, you've got story opportunities. You actually see the resistance meter go up. And what's happening there, which is really interesting for us, is if we're going to build this live game, this feeling that it's alive, and the idea that these heralds and the cult have a mandate. And that what you're doing is you're the fly in the ointment, you're getting in the way of it. So you can actually see your progression through that in the world, but you can also get the sense like they're going to push back.
Are there any other gameplay wrinkles that come from building up that resistance meter? I mean, is that considered like your global experience, or is that character-based? How does that work?
It's more just getting a sense of whether or not the people are going to join you. And so you're really getting an understanding of when John or Faith or Jacob or the father are going to push back on you. This is a guy named Merle. He's a pretty interesting character. I love this guy. Yeah.
Oh no, Merle's under attack.
So that's super interesting for us, is that you're in the middle of a story moment, and then what happens is that the cult shows up, and the story moment will stop, and they'll act like regular people. You'll basically see people, so you'll see stuff going on where Merle's going to run, he's going to head for cover, he's going to take a minute, he's going to, in this case, he's going to protect himself, and then when he feels like everything's done and over, he'll continue the conversation.
Nice. I'm thinking about all the programming nightmare that entails.
It's
not
easy.
No, it's definitely not.
We got a lot of smart people back in Toronto and in Montreal and around the world who really worked incredibly hard to be able to do this and bring these characters to life. And it's the devil's in the details, right? If you walk up to somebody and you go, hey, listen, I want to have a conversation with you, and then you decide to walk away, they're going to get a little pissed off. They're going to get a little hurt. And when you come back, they may give you a little bit of grief about it.
You can hurt feelings in this game. You watch out, because that's the truest weapon.
It really is.
Is the mind and the heart.
Words hurt.
Yes, absolutely. So now I don't know if you know where we're driving next.
Yeah, so
it looks like we have a waypoint in the distance here.
What's happening here is that you're basically going to go, Merle's got this pretty cool car, and on the back of it is this 50 cal, and he's basically saying, if we're going to do some damage against the cult, let's go get this thing. So it's called the Death Wish. So you're going to go back and basically try and find this thing.
Okay, gotcha. It sounds, a very peaceful vehicle, the Death Wish.
The Death Wish.
Yeah.
Right?
They really named it. They nail on the head with that
Happy
one.
birthday!
I think.
It's the Death Wish.
Okay, so
here it is.
And is it under cult control right now?
It is, and it's interesting because Merle says the thing guzzles gas like he drinks beer, and that's why it's actually at the gas station. So he knew that they'd eventually have to go and head to the gas station.
Small micro storytelling
there you go.
right there. Dan, you got it all figured out.
So what we're basically going to see here is the attack on this and attempt to get it back. But what's really tricky about this is, in maybe previous versions, you'd go in and try and basically blow this thing up, but now you got to take it back to them, and you got to be able to use it as a weapon. So it's the kind of thing where we really wanted to make rough tools and put you in situations where you could use the weapons that are around and kind of harvest it if you can.
Oh, goodness.
All right, so now the chase begins.
I like how about to go in the truck, and then
then it's like, wait a minute,
second.
That is a badass car. I'm taking that. This is one of the things that we really wanted for the game. Was just being able to get into those classic cars.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then just go into, great movies of old, fantastic car chases, and get the spirit of that.
And you got the radio going.
Yeah, but you're being chased, so you got to be careful.
And I will point out, I think this footage is from single player, but
Correct.
the game does feature multiplayer
Absolutely,
as well.
through the entirety of the game.
Through the entirety.
Yeah, what we wanted to do is just build this system of the for hire system so that it all felt like it was under one umbrella. So you have guns for hire, fangs for hire, and then a friend for hire.
Good old friend for hire.
Yep.
Just going completely off-road bonkers. Oh gosh.
Yeah, so they got backup, right? Basically calling for help.
Tell me, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the weapon system here, but I don't know how expansive customization is, or if it's very straightforward, like you grab a weapon and you go. How did you guys approach design?
I think the way it starts is just being able to pick up weapons, and being able to grab things that are around you, and then start to, as you get an appreciation for what it is that is your play style, to be able to go into shops and to be able to find weapons or buy weapons, and then customize them the way you want, and sort of get that classic feel to them. So definitely, for sure, if you love doing that in previous Far Cry's, you're going to love it in this one.
I always spend an inordinate amount of time customizing my arsenal, and then I feel like I just end up switching to something else minutes later, but it's part of the fun. It's all part of the journey. Oh goodness, hello.
Well, that's just it, right? Traffic. There's going to be people on the road. You got to be careful. What's your favorite weapon that you usually play with? What's the style that you play?
I feel like revolvers are usually like something that in other shooters I often lean towards that because they're good for a variety of situations.
Sure.
Yep. They feel cool.
Yep.
Sometimes you get those cool engravings on the side.
See, for me, it's a flamethrower, but I don't know that would help here. I think that would only cause mayhem.
Probably not. I think that really tells us about our personalities is that you lean into the flamethrower.
Yeah, mayhem.
Yeah. No,
what's cool about this is that you're actually seeing like life on the side where the cult is going in, they're taking people. It's in the middle of a mission, but still the world is open. And so we really don't know what's going to happen. Oh, okay, so they basically threw out smoke, and now you're in a bit of trouble. But there's also a convoy coming by because they're actually doing stuff.
Most flagrant use of dynamite I've ever seen.
All right, so here's the options.
Trouble.
Basically, you got to go get that truck. See if you can. Leave that muscle car.
Oh, goodbye, sweet muscle car.
Yep.
We hardly knew ye.
Oh, here you go. You get to turn it into a weapon. Up in the 50 cal.
Oh, there he
unleash.
is. Now, I think that soldier probably should have turned tail at that point.
Yeah,
I think strategy dictated.
At that point, maybe
the courage was too great for him.
So now you got to head back towards Merle. You got the truck, and now when you eventually get back there, Merle hops in the back. He hops on the 50 cal, and now what you're going to do is you're going to basically go around here to this place where they're stashing this thing called the Bliss. And that's one of the things that the cult uses to control people. So there's all these barrels of bliss, and you basically destroy them, blow it up, And if you're successful, you get to keep the Death Wish.
But only if you're successful.
Only if you're successful. And you can hear it, actually. You hear that reverb? That's the actual drug taking its effect on the player as you play.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Fire inside the vehicle,
Yep.
never a good sign.
Nope.
Please exit as soon as possible for your safety.
All right, so now Merle's in the 50 cal, and he's actually unleashing on these guys at the same time as you.
I like that you're still getting the stealth markers in a very unstealth. They're like, are you trying to?
Yeah.
No, you're okay. No.
I'm good.
No stealth needed
Not
here,
today.
sir. What about how do you guys manage the day-night cycle in Far Cry 5? Is it dynamic? Is it something that's set? Does it depend on story missions?
There's definitely moments in the game where we wanted you to be able to experience a certain time of day, but for the most part, it's pretty organic, right? It manages it the way that you would expect it to. So you just completed the Death Wish, and now you can go and repair if you want, or you can go talk to Merle, or you can even go in and buy a new vehicle. Entirely up to you.
You just drive that one straight off a cliff.
Yeah, and then
Who
you go
needs
back.
the Death
but
Wish?
once you find it, it's yours, because that's what you want right now. We're headed to something a little bit more interesting. This is a little...
this wasn't interesting
Well,
already?
the last one was interesting, but this... Well, I think you'll see what I mean. This is Clutch Nixon, the greatest stuntman ever to come out of Hope Valley.
Oh, my goodness.
So, it's... Yeah, I just want to do this. So now, what we really wanted was, whenever time you go to a place and you sit in a bar and you hear about these stories of
the local legends.
The local legends.
Yeah.
We really wanted one, so we built one, and you get to play the memories of his greatest achievements as a stuntman. And they're just awesome.
They're just out of control.
They're just ridiculously amazing. The car's on fire.
You're actually kind of in the past
Correct.
right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You're living sort of the best of his adventures and seeing if you can really beat his. And you can actually hear like the sportscaster talking about your feats and how you're doing.
Dan, are you saying that I can change the past by reliving the life of Clutch Nixon? I don't
know if you could do that.
Aren't we writing the past in this moment?
You might be.
Oh,
you
goodness.
Might be. But I remember, people
recovery.
talking about this. Like, why is the car on fire? Because it's awesome.
It is. Dangerous. Awesome.
Yep.
On fire still. Yep. Correct.
Love the music.
Yeah, it's gotta have a little bit of rock in there.
Yeah.
You guys always have fun with music in these games, don't you?
We really do.
I think we spoke about that before, is
Yep.
that especially with this game, you're tapping into almost a completely different musical tapestry.
For sure.
Compared to the other Far Cry games.
And I think the thing, too, is that we really tried to make it so that each region is different. So as you traverse through the world... Yeah, here you go.
Big jump. Yeah.
There you go. The
And
big finish.
into the water. He survives that, right?
He survives everything. He's Clutch Nixon.
Okay. Well, showed me.
Yep. So yeah, the music is just such a big part. I mean, it's part of what brings the charm. It's a huge component of emotion and whether or not you feel that in the game and how you. And we just put these sort of in the world so that you can experience it. And that's the thing about the game, is that we built this game. We definitely have a story that has earnest moments in it. We definitely have moments of huge pushback on the cult, but we also recognize that just because we're thinking that the game is played a certain way is not the way that people will play it. And what we want to be able to do is build a world that's organic and allows the player to go in every direction, get any vehicle that they want, be able to basically play the game and author the experience the way they want, and then go off and basically, it's not predictive. We want them to just go and play.
I think that's one of the most fascinating things about open world design to me as someone from the outside.
Okay,
something is afoot.
So somebody, they just basically, if you go into the map and you're able to go over a couple of key locations, what you can actually hear is people who are in trouble, and they're basically calling you over the radio. And so I think this heads towards Boomer.
You think? We're not sure.
Pretty sure this
to be confirmed shortly.
Yes.
The little nav points.
That's super cool.
I wish that today's GPS could provide that level of precision.
Yeah, you're driving a car that's, rear-wheel drive, pretty slick, got racing slicks on it, but you got this amazing GPS. But it's, it's important that if we build a world where if the player really wants to go and do something, we give them the opportunity to know where to go and what to do, and to just play into the game.
You could easily get lost in a big open world like this. So. Oh goodness! Hello.
Here they come.
They're really not following the rules of the road, are they?
No, they're not.
Oh, just missed. Oh my God! Look at that swerve.
Oh, they just called for backup, so there's more of them coming.
Oh, and this is great. See, moments like this, which feel like an action movie, but they're actually being they're just being created by the player
totally
in the moment.
Systemic, right?
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That really always blows my mind.
I think, you know, we had a real moment on Far Cry 4 when we were working on one mission in particular with Pagan Min, where Pagan started to do things kind of on his own, and we kind of made it an opportunity for Pagan to make choices in the mission. And we were thinking to ourselves, why don't we just allow the game to do that across the entirety of the game? So right here, you know, the cult pushes back, maybe an animal's going to show up, but you got a helicopter that's going to attack you. Meanwhile, you're headed towards a mission here, or you may even be mid-mission, but this kind of stuff happens, and we don't know that it's going to happen, and then we get to see it firsthand.
Dan, I have a great subtitle for Far Cry 5 I'd like to pitch to you
Okay,
now. I know
let's
the
hear it.
game title's already been decided.
Let's hear it.
Far Cry 5, multitasking.
I got it.
I think it's going to sell.
Okay, we'll get the .com address later.
Yeah. Just work out the details with my lawyer.
Cool.
And I love, you can see in the distance, you got these amazing mountains. It's just, I love the diversity of the environment as well.
Well, you asked the question about night and day, and honestly, it's like there's some really cool things about sort of being alone in the dark and feeling the sense of, you know, what's around the corner. And then there's just these beautiful moments of dawn or dusk. And the lighting in Montana was phenomenal when we were there. So we just wanted to be able to experience that. But then there's also terrible stuff that's going on where the cult's done terrible stuff because they're bad people and basically come in and then you have an opportunity to push back on them. That thing off in the distance, I believe that's actually a repurposed fertilizer container, and inside it is bliss, and if you blow it up, you actually get resistance points.
Okay. But we do have apple and pumpkin picking.
Correct.
Right there.
And there's Boomer.
I see the sign.
Yep. So let's see what we do here. Do we go in quiet? And you can hear Boomer.
Boomer! I'm coming.
So what the cult is doing here is they're actually going in and they're taking animals. And they're taking animals and they're turning them into something that I'm not supposed to talk about, but I'm going to anyway.
Uh-oh.
They're called judges, and they're pretty badass. So you're going to go save Boomer from that happening to him.
Okay.
And then be able to have your first Thanks for Hire.
Ah, excellent. Also, that sounds very scary, and I'm glad we're rescuing Boomer. Rescue all the animals. And pumpkins. This would be so pleasant and peaceful if there wasn't, you weren't embattled in combat
were
at
it
the
not
moment.
for the cult. But the thing for us is that we wanted to, you know, when you're building a game that's this big and a world that's this rich, we want to be able to have a variety of stories and a variety of tones in it. Sure, you're going to have moments that are earnest like this where you're saving, you know, the dog and basically bringing this into your group, but then you're also going to have moments like with Clutch Nixon. And so we just want to be able to make it so that there's little action bubbles and stories that you can snack on.
I love snackable stories.
For sure.
Low on calories, high on flavor.
That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, I came up with it just now.
Nice.
Okay, that helicopter's a menacing.
Just be careful. Here we go.
I love the lighting that we're playing with here. We're kind of
the
going
art
up on
team's done
stealth.
a fantastic job. There's Boomer. Let's see if we
Leave
can
him
get
alone! Oh my goodness!
There we go. It's on. Okay.
Oh jeez.
Knife kill.
Yep. Brutal.
Now they call for backup. That's what they do. So basically, all right. So you've got him, and now Boomer's out, and he can hold his own.
Go Boomer! Does Boomer come with like a jetpack or a rocket launcher?
No,
strapped to his-
Boomer's awesome,
Okay.
just the way he is.
Just the-
He's super good. So they did call for backup. So Boomer's available now as a Thanks for Hire, but you got to go actually enlist him.
Okay.
But he's going to do
Boomer's
some, he's gonna do
doing
some
his own
damage.
work.
He can do some damage. He can hold his own.
Support your local farmer.
So now.
Oh my gosh.
now-
Pat,
well,
the
here's
most
thing.
important sub-command.
Those are Boomer's former owners, so he's pretty upset about it,
no.
right? So there's a story to be told here. We really just tried to put little stories in that you could just take a minute and drink that in. And now you can go up and basically pet him, and he's yours.
Definitely a somber moment in a game that has a high emotional range. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Far Cry 5, which is coming to PS4 March 27th. Dan, such a pleasure to have you as always. Thank you for your
so much.
commentary.
It was great. Awesome.
Final thoughts for your for the audience?
I just hope they love it. We really are trying to build something that and have built something where the players get to tell their stories, and we can't wait to hear them.
Great. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
PlayStation.
Far Cry 5 is the biggest, most open Far Cry to date, giving you free reign to explore the highways and wilderness of Hope County, Montana, where you'll make life tough for the cultists of the project at Eden's Gate by blowing up their stuff and uniting the locals as a resistance. How you do this is entirely up to you.
Shit, nice move!
More or less from the get-go, the entirety of Hope County is yours to explore however you like, whether by truck, helicopter, or fast travel wingsuit airdrop. And there's a lot to discover. Poking around its wooded trails might reveal prepper caches protected by puzzles or challenges or wolverines. Or you might find signposts that reveal picturesque cliffs from which you can go wingsuiting. You might even discover a plaque commemorating the impossible deeds of 70s daredevil Clutch Nixon, at which point you'll be able to, say, recreate his literally on fire rally run through sprinkler checkpoints that delay your inevitable explosion. As with any Far Cry game, however, some of the best moments come from the unpredictability of the world itself. When you've got cultists, vehicles, fire, and extremely violent animals all running amok at once, it only takes a second for a mission to go from high-tension stealth to berserk carnage because that incendiary arrow missed a cult VIP and hit a bull instead. Far Cry 5 also expands one of the best parts of earlier games, scouting out enemy outposts, methodically hunting down all of their defenders, and claiming the compounds for your side. Not only are outposts everywhere in Hope County, clearly marked by columns of black smoke, but all across the map you'll find prominent citizens under siege by the cult.
Name's Grace.
Helping them push back and reclaim what's theirs will convince them to join you in battle, or at least give you more intel about the cult's activities. As you reclaim territory from the cult, destroy their property, and generally interfere with their plans, you'll fill a resistance meter for the region you're in. Each region of Hope County has 4 levels of resistance, and when you hit a new tier, the cult will step up its armaments and tactics. Once a rebel's property is back under their control, you'll be able to recruit them to follow you into battle as a gun for hire, giving them orders with the D-pad and using their skills to help push back the cultists. In addition to the unique story characters, guns for hire also include locals looking to fight back, and each outpost you liberate will unlock at least one fresh-faced combatant who will hang around, ready and eager to watch your back. You can run with 2 guns for hire at once, and they're perfect for tackling the side quests that each outpost opens up, which will net you money to spend on more ammo and better guns. Guns for hire aren't just good in a fight either. They can also revive you if you fall in battle, and you'll need to do the same for them, which can get a little challenging under heavy fire. Don't let it bother you too much if you can't reach them in time though. They won't die, but they'll also be unavailable for a while as they recover from their injuries, after which you can recruit them again. Also, be aware that any cultists you take down but don't kill can also be revived by their comrades, so be sure to finish them off good.
It hurts so bad!
Far Cry 5 is an adventure you can pursue on your terms, and the fact that everything can go sideways in a second because you ran too close to a seemingly harmless turkey is a big part of the fun. Hope County is wild and unpredictable, and you can find out how wild when Far Cry 5 launches on March 27th, 2018 on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more on Far Cry 5.
No one is coming to save you.
The world is going to hell out there. Eden's Gate is the center of it all. You want to get out of here alive? Gotta make them feel the pressure. Sabotage their plans. Destroy their convoys and their guard stations. You'll remember, the more you play with their nerves, the bigger their reaction. And nerves, they've got lots of it.
You got me down on the killing floor.
I got friends out there too. Good people. They're ready to resist. All they need is a spark. more you help liberate a region, the more the resistance meter will fill up. And the more resistance means more people who fight by your side. They want a war. Let's make sure we don't disappoint.
Hello everyone, my name is Philippe Fournier, associate producer on Far Cry 5.
And I'm Mari Knadel, a scriptwriter on Far Cry 5. Today we're going to take you through our extended E3 demo and highlight some of the features that we're really excited about. Welcome to Hope County, Montana. This is the Holland Valley, a section of farmland that the project at Eden's Gate is using as their breadbasket.
With us in this demo, we have our loyal dog Boomer as your fang for hire. For now, I just can't resist. The setup is too perfect. I'm going to use this tractor against the cult.
The cult is stealing supplies and kidnapping people, using them to prepare for a doomsday that's really just around the corner. We're going to put you in the shoes of a rookie deputy and drop you into the heat of the conflict.
In Far Cry 5, we want to give you tools that feel like they belong in Montana in your fight against the doomsday cult. And now we're going to make a quick getaway in case reinforcements arrive.
Oh, Christ, help me.
Boomer is just one of the many allies you can recruit using our 4-hire system. Each of them has special abilities, and it's up to you to select which companion to bring along for the ride, whether you're just exploring the open world or fighting cultists head-on in a specific location. Cute dog. My dad would love to know, what type of breed is Boomer? No, seriously.
His breed is mutt, but he is mostly blue heeler by the looks of him.
Montana is a great place to fish, and it was important for us to create a system where we allowed players to live that experience. In the rivers and lakes of Hope County, you will find many different types of fish. It's a really good way for players to gain experience and also just get away from the conflict. And here we see the player needs to fight a little bit to get the fish. Nice, catch of the day on the menu.
So it's nice to unwind with some fishing every now and then, but we know the cult isn't taking any breaks because they have an apocalypse to prepare for. As you explore the county, you'll come across cultists working hard to serve Joseph, the father of their cult. They're taking food and supplies for their bunkers, they're blocking the roads so no one can escape, and they're destroying resources so the resistance can't use them. And it looks like we spotted something up ahead. Yeah, let's take out our binoculars.
It seems like there's a small group of cultists there, Mari.
All right, so this looks like a forced baptism. What do you say we get in there, Phil?
Yeah, let's do it. I think the best approach would be to go in stealthily through the river with Boomer by our side. I think we're well equipped to get rid of those two guys. Here we're using one of the iconic weapons featured in Far Cry 5, the revolver. And you'll be able to customize those weapons by adding attachments or changing the color scheme and hunt the cult in style.
Go Boomer!
Alright, Boomer showing off one of his skills. This can really be a game changer in a fight where you're a bit low of ammo or you don't have the right weapon for the situation.
He's a good dog. You know, Boomer's a great all-rounder who can support any playstyle. Even without your commands, he'll fetch guns for you, take down cultists in a fight, and he'll tag enemies and animals from far away with his keen sense of smell.
The game being set in America, it was important for us to bring a wide variety of vehicles from pickups to tractors to big rigs like this one. This one is specifically called the Widowmaker. It's like a battering ram on wheels, and is a great tool to create chaos and take down enemy vehicles or roadblocks.
And it looks like we got one here.
Let's do it.
Pedal to the metal.
That Voss bobblehead didn't even move. We're so good.
We got him glued onto the dash.
That's it. Boom.
So it sounds like we're listening to the cult radio station. I gotta say, some of their hymns are pretty catchy, Phil. pulling up to Ryan Sons Aviation. This is the home of Nick Rye. He's a crop duster and a family man. He's doing what he can to keep his family safe and keep the cult from getting his plane, but it looks like they've beaten us here, so let's jump right in. There's no time to waste.
And let Boomer kind of create distractions for us to get behind cover and help Nick fight the cultists. In Far Cry 5, you'll need to improvise and choose from a vast arsenal of weapons and find elements in the environment to take down the enemy. There we go. So we just took down the last cultist at Nick Rye's using my favorite stealth weapon, a baseball bat. Sometimes you can hear Boomer growling when he feels a threat nearby. And Boomer is just part of Far Cry 5's living world we've built, where there's always something or someone around you whether you notice it or not. This means you'll always need to be prepared. Boomer will stand his ground and defend you from predators, as there are a lot of moments for the player to hunt or be hunted. And we've built a deep ecosystem that represents Montana's wilderness.
So, we've seen ducks, a sturgeon, deer, and this is just a small sample of all of the wild animals that you'll encounter in Hope County. So now we've jumped into Nick Rye's plane. It's been in his family for generations, and with it we'll take to the sky to destroy some cult silos that are hoarding explosives.
The world that we've built is larger than any Far Cry before, and for the first time you can explore the world in any direction that you choose right from the start. In this demo, we're in Holland Valley, and this is just one small part of Hope County.
Montana is called Big Sky Country after all. Flying is a great way to travel, explore the county, and scout out new opportunities. And also blow things up.
Woo-wee! Look at that go! Nice work, partner. Go get the other one.
Oh, looks like the cult has decided to intervene. That plane belongs to a Chosen. Now, the Chosen are elite soldiers, and it's their job to basically crush any threat to the project at Eden's Gate. So we've done enough to anger the cult. We're going to engage a little dogfight with them and show them what we think of them.
That's right. Even in the air, there's a lot of opportunities for the player to, find or discover or get chased by or get discovered. Yeah, totally. Hunt or be hunted, as we call it. I think right now we are the predator.
Yep, we got them on the run. They're smoking. And we did it.
Well done. So thanks for watching, and we're really looking forward to showing you more.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. I don't honestly know if I'm allowed to talk about the wingsuit. But you know what? Fuck it. Yes, it's back. Okay. And what's cool about it is that
you as the hero are, joining the resistance to try and push back and liberate these people.
Exactly. Yep, that's what we built. So as you kind of see this, you're going to see Boomer for the first time. You find yourself in the world. You know that this cult has taken over the space. You're kind of trapped behind cult lines. And what you have to do is basically find people out in the world and build this resistance. And it can start with Boomer the dog or any other person that you meet.
I mean, you have to start with the dog.
Of course.
Is there any other option?
Right.
Man's best friend.
Exactly. Well, we were actually in Montana, and we were hunting, and there was it was kind of the end of the day, and it was getting cold, and the guy that we were with was like, "Don't move." We're like, "Okay." And we watched his dog for like 10 to 12 minutes, and finally, the dog wasn't moving. At the end of it, the dog barked, and this bird went, and he goes, "Always trust your dog," and that's why that's why the dog's in the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
The origin story of Boomer.
There you go.
On
That's
PlayStation
Boomer.
Underground.
Yep.
You got more than you asked for, ladies and gentlemen. So tell me a little bit about this setting, because we're about to try and liberate a section of Hope County.
So this is a small community, Falls End, and what you basically got here is that the cultists come in and they've begun this thing called the Reaping, where what they believe is that the end of the world is coming, and that what they need to do is save as many souls as they can, whether they want to be saved or not. So they come in, they take over the town, they begin to take people, they kill some people, And what you have to do is basically liberate that town and take it back. And when you do, it begins to open up other parts of the world, and you can meet different characters, and you begin to discover the open world through these communities.
And I think you guys want to, well, we want to use Boomer, obviously, but also our friend playing here is going to take a slightly more long-range approach at the beginning of this playthrough. And that's one of the principles of Far Cry, right, is that you can play however you want to play, and there's a lot of
360 degrees, right? I mean, we learned that on some of the games that we built in the past, of building a game and building an environment where you can attack it any way you want. In this case, you've got Boomer, who has the ability to actually tag all these characters and be able to help you figure out how you want to attack.
Okay, so now I believe that there's a bet in place where if any death happens on screen that is not the enemy,
yes, exactly,
we beat up the driver.
Yep. Max is going to be in trouble if he dies. We got to watch carefully. So he can attack it any way he wants. And what's cool, though, as you can see, is that what he's able to do now with Boomer is he's able to tag everybody. But what's really cool about Boomer is once you set him loose, he really does become a weapon unto himself, and you can basically kill these guys and begin to take the weapons from them. Let's see what Max does.
And this is the cult on the microphone,
that's
correct?
The father. What he does is he actually, he's just taking a guy down. So Boomer's kicked it off, and now he can send Boomer pretty much anywhere.
I think the stealth section is over now.
It's over. Boomer
We've moved into the new chapter.
Yep.
I like that the dog kind of decided when it was time for things to get
always trust your dog.
And there's some gun emplacements here to make matters more fun.
Yep. So Max is he's gonna tear it up. And you can see civilians are actually getting out. I mean, you rescued a couple people just by being able to push back on the cult. They're gonna get in vehicles, they're gonna act like normal people, they're gonna get the hell out of there. And then Boomer's gonna step in. Now reinforcements have showed up. So now you got to think about, all right, how do I spin that plate a little differently? How do I get it so all those guys that showed up in that cult vehicle, maybe you can send Boomer in and basically try and take some of those guys out.
If you had pulled your parachute in that very short jump, would anything bad happen? Okay, maybe we'll try it next time. Oh, jeez. Perfect. Except for all the smoke.
Yeah.
We can't see.
Go
Boomer!
Take him down.
Good old reliable Boomer.
Yep.
It seems like if you name your dog Boomer, you're kind of setting the animal up for a certain type of life.
Exactly.
Right? A life of action and mayhem.
Oh, nice hit.
Which I would not wish upon any real animal.
Right.
I just want to put that on the record.
So there you go.
Liberated.
Yep. Basically
so
took over the
simple.
town. Yeah, it was super cool.
Just because we had Boomer, though. Anyone else, I don't know if it would have gone as smoothly.
Well, Boomer's super cool. I mean, we really wanted to be able to make it so that we had that experience that we had in Montana of you have a dog, it's your pet, you trust it, and it's a weapon. It's super cool.
And do you gain any access to something once you liberate this area?
For sure.
Another foothold here in the community?
Yeah, so this is a community. We actually built communities in the world so that what you do is you meet real people like Mary May, Pastor Jerome, Nick, and when you meet these sort of community leaders, they're going to tell you about things that are happening out in the world, and that helps you basically follow your nose out into the world and do what you want to do.
Awesome. Dan, this looks amazing.
Cool.
I love seeing it. Far Cry 5 coming to PS4 next year in February.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Right on. Thanks, man.
And
Appreciate
this was PlayStation Underground. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next time. A little bit about why Montana.
Well, take a look at it. I mean, it's beautiful. We actually went there, and we just kind of discovered it and fell in love with it. The thing is that for us, we know that Far Cry has typically been about putting you on a plane 6,000 miles away and giving you somewhere exotic. But we said, what if we could do that kind of at home? What if we could let you explore the things that you already know and make that feel a little bit twisted and interesting? How do you do it? And in this case, what you're seeing is the cult, which we built, has actually taken over this small town of Falls End. You're looking at it, getting a sense of what you got to do. And what we wanted to do is give you the tools, the weapons, and the people to be able to build this resistance and then fight back.
Awesome. So I actually have community questions, Sid. Can you believe it? Dan, get ready.
All right, I'm ready.
You already know what these are. Oversoul Gaming wanted to know, this is the first Far Cry game I'm really interested in. Will it be newcomer friendly? Is it more focused on action or stealth?
It's a great question. I think that from the standpoint of it being newcomer friendly, for sure, right? We definitely want to be able to make it so that if you played a Far Cry before, you're going to be able to pick this up and go, okay, I get, oh, that's different. Wait a minute, this surprise. But if you've never played a Far Cry before, it's a great opportunity for you to pick it up and to be able to experience it for the first time, because we're building a story that you author, right? Gone are the days of the linear story. What we want to be able to make it is that you can go in any direction, meet any character, and be able to imbibe in the action bubbles that you want to do. So for sure, it's completely friendly.
Good. Well, he asked a good question then.
That's great.
Go ahead.
What's your next one?
Philippe wants to know, is the wingsuit back? Missed it a lot in Primal.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know if I'm allowed.
Primal is.
Wait, you're just like sew together a bunch of fur skins or like just
It's not like we didn't talk about it, but the
okay, all right.
question was that I don't honestly know if I'm allowed to talk about the wingsuit. You know what? Fuck it. Yes, it's back.
Okay.
And what's cool about it is that we didn't just put in the wingsuit. We actually built a character that's this legendary stuntman that's from Montana, our character. Awesome. And when you do a lot of this stuff with the wingsuit and other things that you do that are stunts in the world, you're actually paying homage to him, and you can unlock stuff based off his personality from like the 1960s and the 1970s.
That was a PlayStation Live for me.
There you go.
Heard it here first.
There you go.
I'm sure Dan's colleagues are just over the moon.
Exclusive.
And you know, I know we're already, you know, a little bit through the demo here, Dan, but we didn't really talk about the father and the cult yet. But that's obviously a huge point in Far Cry 5. It's sort of the antagonist of the series.
Yeah, I think, you know, people know that we've worked really hard, and when you think about it from the standpoint of Far Cry 3 and Bob, started to cobble together this idea of the father. And then we started to think about, okay, who do we get to play this? And we got a lot of interesting options in terms of casting, and then we found a guy by the name of Greg Brick, who is unbelievable. And this guy is spooky. He's a fantastic actor. He came in, he's playing our father, and the thing about him is that when you meet him, he was the one actor that I met that I actually believed he could bring me into a cult. And that was all the difference. Plus, he doesn't blink, and it's really spooky.
Like at all? Like...
At all. It's weird, yeah.
That's another exclusive.
Yeah.
Wait, really though? Does he have like eye drops that he's
No. He's just intense. He's
okay.
He's really good at his craft, and he's intense. And when he brings the father, he brings it all.
That's amazing.
And you know, Dan, this is amazing because compared to the footage we were just seeing, our driver here is already, it's so much different from what we were seeing before.
Different game
different pathways through, different encounters.
That's what we wanted, and it wasn't just in terms of a single area. I mean, we want that for all the regions in the game, that you're gonna meet different communities, you're gonna have different guns for hire, different opportunities, that you can attack it. I mean, Far Cry has been about freedom, opportunity, and surprise, and that's what we bring.
And these partners, these co-op partners are...
Hey guys, this is Dan Hay. I'm the executive producer on Far Cry and the creative director on Far Cry 5. Today, we want to show you the world of Far Cry 5 and introduce you to the little town of Falls End, which has been overrun by a fanatic cult. In Far Cry 5, we want to give you an entire for-hire system. Guns for hire, fangs for hire, and friends for hire. Meet Boomer and Grace. Boomer's your dog, perfect to run out into the world and tag enemies. And Grace?
We got piggies.
She's the quiet sniper. The cult at Eden's Gate has basically taken over all of Falls End. And you and your guns for hire have to take it back.
Where do you want me?
We're gonna send Grace, our sharpshooter, to the water tower to get ourselves some cover fire.
Got it.
You see here are the last remnants of the resistance that tried to fight the cult.
I'm in position.
Out there in the bushes is Boomer. He's ready to go. And up above, Nick. Perfect death from above. Now, it's time to call on Grace to do what she does.
Boom, boom, motherfuckers.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom.
Behind you.
Bang, 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 bang.
Gonna need more help.
I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk. Boom, 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 boom. Gonna shoot you right down. Over your feet.
Need some help. Target a fucking quad.
putting the game in people's hands, seeing them play. How's it been for you?
It's been amazing. I mean, we've been sitting on this idea for almost 3 years, and we're back, back home thinking about it and saying, what are people going to say? How are they going to feel? What's going to happen when they actually take the controller and they get to use guns for hire? They get to go out into Hope, Montana. They get to experience all the stuff that we want to be able to put into the Anecdote Factory. And it's awesome to see.
It's very cool. I played it myself, and the demo starts with a choice of 3 of the guns for hire you can have. Talk us through each one.
So you've got 3 right from the beginning, and we've got Nick, and Nick is kind of like this death from above guns for hire, right? He's a crop duster by trade. He's got this plane that he's outfitted with the ability to strafe and to be able to drop bombs, and he's just a hell of a lot of fun to play with. Or you can choose Grace, and Grace is super tough, super accurate with the sniper rifle. She's great sort of from up above in the water tower. She's super quiet, so if you want to play stealth, that's how you do it. But once she unleashes, she brings the thunder. It's all kinds of trouble. And then finally you got Boomer, which is a fan favorite. Everybody's loving Boomer. It's your dog, your pet, your best friend. And what's cool about Boomer is if you want to be able to go out and play maybe with a little bit more of intention of being stealthy, you can go and actually mark everybody and then choose which one you want Boomer to take.
And there are definitely moments where I sort of was like, all right, there's 2 guys coming from around this truck. Boomer, you go there, I'll go here.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep, it works. I mean, that's the thing that we wanted. And the guns for hire are there for you to use the way you want and kind of attack the whole game from 360 degrees. Did you get in the Widowmaker? Did you get in the big truck?
Is that the name?
Yeah.
Oh, the Widowmaker. Yeah, with
the big truck with the eagle on the side and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So you hop inside, you get inside this big rig, and you go off. And if you got a guns for hire with you, they're either on the ground running with you, they're getting in a car themselves, they're beside you in the seat. And as you go out into the world, what we wanted was the feeling that the cult was putting pressure on the world, that you could see it, that there's going to be moments of cult interactions out in the world, and you can basically take that. If you want to go off-road, you can. If you want to be able to stay on the road, you can. If you want to go hunt off to the side, you can. And then when you finally get to Nyx, you realize here's another person like you who's being pushed back by the cult. He's being basically pushed at, and you can liberate him, make sure that he's safe, and then he turns to you and says, hey, listen, thanks, partner. Listen, my plane's not too far away. If you got a moment, go take the plane, do some damage with it, and try some death from above.
Let's get into some trouble.
Yeah, let's do it. If you do enough damage, if you push too hard, they call down the Chosen. And the Chosen are going to show up. They're going to be tough. They're going to be very tough to beat. They're going to give you a real challenge. And they're going to force you or push you or encourage you to try and play the game a different way.
It's a beautiful place to spend some time, get into some mayhem.
Yes.
Exciting to see Far Cry 5 here at E3, and it's coming out next year.
Yep.
What's the date?
February 27th, 2018. Be there.
Something is coming. You can feel it, can't you? You can feel that we are creeping towards the edge. I know that you are out there. And I know that you are in pain. But my children, I'm here to tell you that suffering is a choice, and you can choose a better path. We want you, we accept you, and we will take you, willingly or not. And some of you may fight, but in the end, you will thank us. I am your father, and you are my children.
Upon us! I shall lead you to the gate! For you are my children, and I am your father!
PlayStation, the best place to play.
PlayStation.
If you had pulled your parachute in that very short jump, would anything bad happen? Okay, maybe we'll try it next time. Oh, jeez.
Game in Montana, in the fictional county of Hope County, where a fanatical doomsday cult called the Project at Eden's Gate has overrun everything. They've kidnapped people. They've stolen all the land. The father, Joseph Seed, the leader of the cult, believes that the end of the world is coming, and so he's preparing his family for that inevitable collapse.
Now, it looks pretty peaceful right now.
It is. Well, we're in Falls End, which is one of the communities, one of the towns in the game. It's just been liberated by Alex, who's playing the game.
Shout out to Alex, everybody.
Yeah.
In the Twitch chat, I want to see you throwing up the claps. Alex is over there. If he dies, give him the thumbs down.
Yeah, when we decided, we want to bring Far Cry to America, it's, there needs to be some level of believability. It needs to feel like the world is lived in. We're walking around the house here sort of showing a typical Americana. There's not a lot of people in the town right now because, like I said, they're all been kidnapped, and so it's up to the player.
That will bring down population.
Yeah, it's up to the player to sort of bring the communities back, build a resistance, build an army to fight against the cult.
Was it a tough decision for you guys to come to America?
I don't think so. It's something that the team has really been wanting to do for a while. The question really was, what's a space that feels Far Cry-ish?
Right.
We've been to Kyrat, we've been to the islands in Far Cry 3.
We've gone back in time.
Yes, we have gone back in time to Primal. But I think trying to find a space that felt dangerous, a little bit unexplored.
Sure.
A place that just feels like a wilderness, like a frontier. That really is Montana. We sent a team up there to sort of do a little investigation, do some recon, and immediately they fell in love with it. They said, the people, the landscape, everything sort of feels very remote and Far Cry-ish. And then it became, okay, well, what's a cool villain that could sort of...
Well, that's what's fascinating for me, being a Far Cry fan, right, is the fact that I'm a fan of America as well. And I wanted you guys to do something here, but Far Cry doesn't work in Chicago.
Yeah.
What are you going to skin in Chicago to make a wall in? It doesn't, rats? That's about all we got.
Not a lot of bears, not a lot of wolves
around
Chicago.
But the rats are pretty big in Chicago.
Exactly, I know. Shout out to Boomer, there he is.
There he is, good boy.
I have a little plush of him right here. You don't see it yet, but I'm petting it. There it is. These run-up like this, that's had so many characters already identifiable, right?
Yeah. I think Far Cry in the past obviously has been it's been known for its villains, right? Voss, Pagan Min. Like it's very much been about you versus the villain. This time around, we wanted to bring the community into the fold, bring your friends, your allies, the people who are going to fight with you against this cult. How can we showcase them? Building people like Mary May, who owns the Spread Eagle, that will walk.
Has she thought about changing the name?
Well,
because it's a great name, but it does. There's a connotation to it that I don't.
But the thing is, it's that sort of, the bar was named by her father, who wasn't maybe the most PC guy, maybe a bit of a misogynist, a bit of an asshole. But the thing is, you talk to Mary in the game, you get a bit more of her backstory, and I think for her, she's like, I hate the name of this bar, I think it's stupid.
Nice.
But at the same time, it's part of my dad, so that conflict of if I change the name, am I sort of getting rid of something?
Yeah, exactly.
It's, people are complicated, people are complex.
And so that's her. Wait, who's Casey Segal?
Casey Segal is the cook of the Spread Eagle.
You guys are the worst. So if Nick Scarpino was watching this, he'd be, I'm just the cook.
Casey,
lowly cook.
Casey will give you some recipes. He'll send you on some hunting missions. And he'll also drop some wisdom bombs.
Does he talk? Does he do the I'm just the cook? The lowly cook line?
He's just a cook.
All right, okay. But does he say it? I want him to say it at some point in this video. Don't ruin the whole thing. I gotta buy it when it comes out next.
Doesn't matter if he says it, he's got the hair.
So, Mary's role is giving out quests, keeping you ingrained. But she's one of your partners too, yes?
She's one of the members of the community. She's one of the community leaders. So, the people that you meet in the game, they're all a member of the Resistance, right? They're all sort of trying to fight back against the cult. Mary, Pastor Jerome, they're sort of sending you out on quests to say, hey, people have been kidnapped, or we need these convoys taken down, or I need a truck my dad's truck to take them back. Then there's guns for hire that you'll meet as you explore the world. People like Grace Armstrong. Or Nick Rye, who showed off in
So what's the difference between Resistance and Guns for Hire?
The Guns for Hire are part of the Resistance, but the thing is, the Guns for Hire, they're going to be your persistent buddies throughout the world.
Okay.
So Mary and Jerome are always going to stick around Falls End.
Drew, you shut up now. Look who it is. It's Jerome Jeffries, everybody.
Yeah,
Round of applause.
baby.
Martin Roach making his debut here.
Yeah, baby.
Testament, wrath, fury, vengeance, we saw it all.
That's you.
But
You
a
did
hawk
that.
is compassionate too. That's a beautiful voice.
I can't tell if Pastor Jerome would have made me go to church more or made me go to church less. If he greeted me with the shotgun at the door.
No, see, he's not about making you go to church. He's just making you think about it.
Okay, that's all he wants to do.
Spiritual things, shall we say.
Where do we find Pastor right now?
Where do you find right now? This is his church.
Yeah.
This is his place. But unfortunately, as you can see, it's been devastated.
Yeah.
This place has been looted, desecrated. Everybody's been kidnapped. So now he's at the place where he's fighting back.
Okay.
He didn't want to be here. This was the fight that was brought to him.
How far do you go to get into that headspace, Martin? I mean, like, is the backstory? What is the backstory for the pastor?
I fight that every day.
Oh God.
No. To get the backstory for him, we go back 20 years, I guess.
Oh wow.
Back to the first Gulf War. What he is, he's a vet. Comes home, he wants to find some peace, find a place. A lot of vets don't find that, so he goes to a place where he can find it. The wide opens of Montana, and then here comes this cult, and they're slowly ripping it away. They're ripping away his community. He's helped build his community. He's one of the leaders. He's not going to let it slip.
Sure.
He's going to be the guy that says, all right, I don't want to have to do this, but I will take up a gun again. I know how to do this. I don't want to, but I know how to, and I can help lead these people back to the real world.
When we met Pastor Jerome in the trailer, right? That was one of the most powerful things of him reading the Bible, pulling out the gun, and like he had to go protect his flock. I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was
protecting
sort of
his flock.
The inspiration for the character, right? Where we have Joseph Seed, we have a guy who's sort of taking religion, taking scripture, twisting it for his own, and sort of warping the message.
Sure.
So we wanted to say, okay, well, we need the opposite of that. And we need someone that's sort of a positive force of good.
Here's the other side.
Yeah. And I think, when you look at a character and you say, okay, well, what are the complexities we can give to him? Having a man of God who, because of how far he's been pushed, says, you know what, I'm willing to sacrifice my own soul to save the people that I've been trying to look out for.
Absolutely.
To run back to the demons you ran away from is pretty cool.
Exactly.
That's cool. Is that fun to play?
It's incredibly fun to play.
Yeah.
Because you got to dig. You got to dig sometimes. Sometimes I say something, and I just hear Drew on the other line go, okay, that's good, but I need to believe it more. I need a little more. So dig a little deeper.
Alex is fixated on this truck, and I have to say my eyes are drawn to it as well.
The Widowmaker.
The Widowmaker. Oh, now, I like the bobblehead.
A little
bobblehead. Nice.
I like the skirt that he's wearing.
Of course,
bringing new vehicles into Far Cry 5, big part of it. It's America, right? We want big monster trucks.
It's Far Cry, all right. It's still Far Cry. We talk about the pastor and his demons, and then the big rig does a 360 after running over a barricade. All right.
Satanic Good Factory at work. So we see a bit of the cult up here. They're roaming the countryside. They're going into towns. They're taking people hostage and executing them.
And Alex is going to take them out.
Oh, he's going to throw some bait. So, I mean, this is just the kind of stuff, as you're exploring the world, you're meeting people. There's a bear that's now showing up.
Is that a bear?
Yeah, that's a bear. It's a bear.
It's Far Cry. It's still very much Far Cry.
Anything can happen.
That would just be a rat in Chicago, so it makes sense, why you're running over here doing this.
No, but as you explore the world, these are the sort of encounters that you're going to find. Nothing's sort of scripted. Everything's systemic.
Well, that's always been the power of Far Cry, right?
Exactly.
Where it is the fact that you guys, I think, are make what a sandbox game. What you make sandbox games that are fun to play because that is the story.
Yeah,
we can all go off and do the same mission, the same objective, but we're all going to do different ways and have different things.
Yeah, it's about giving the players all the tools to sort of really just go off and cause as much mayhem and havoc as they want.
Right.
Boomer just steal a gun for you? Nice.
Dang right he did. That's what Boomer's all about.
Gives everybody the freedom.
But yeah, so the world, we wanted to focus on a more non-linear approach with the story this time. So we had talked to Mary May earlier, who had mentioned that Nick Rye, who lives down the road, was having some trouble with the cult. Maybe you want to go check on him. We're not guiding the player this time around in terms of you've got to do this mission, then this mission.
So the objectives are just like in any order you want.
Yeah, and the thing is, like with Fall's End, this could be one of the first places that you go to in the game. It could be one of the very last.
Gotcha.
After the opening of the game, you're sort of dropped in the middle of the map, and you're just okay, just go.
Go where
meet
you
people,
want.
Go explore. Yeah, go figure out, build your resistance the way that you want to take down Joseph Seed and the cult.
Interesting. So that there's no real way to be like, how far into the game are you right now?
Yeah,
you can tackle this in any order. Interesting.
So yeah, Nick's having a bit of a trouble at his airfield. The cult has come in here. Nick's wife is pregnant with a child.
Okay.
She's
Nick was the guy with the crop duster from the trailer,
yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly. So he's got a plane. He's trying to figure out a way to get his family to safety, right? And in the cult, you know, like I said, Joseph Seed believes that every single soul in Hope County has to be put. It has to be to be a part of the cult, to be put into their bunkers to save themselves from this coming collapse.
The power of
and
rumor.
you know, a lot of people don't like being in a cult.
Yeah.
So they're gonna fight back.
There we
so
go.
We took care of that problem.
I love what Boomer just did there. Goes up and takes the badass's gun and brings it to you. That's just
what he's all about.
That's perfect.
And there's Nick.
So then Nick is part of the resistance.
Right,
okay.
exactly.
Just like Pastor, just like
Yes.
Mary. Okay.
And the thing, you know, you do a couple quests for Nick. Yeah, you prove that, you know, you're willing to fight for him, and he says, okay, you know what, I'm going to be on your side. I've got a plane. I'll be able to sort of take this guys and watch your back.
Nice.
Yeah. But for right now, Nick has this plan that he's going to fight back at the cult. You know, blow up some silos where they're sort of storing some explosives. But again, his wife is like, you're not going to stick your neck out there. That's too stupid. So he talks to you and says, you know what? Maybe you want to take care of that problem for me. Go
Alex,
fly
be
my
careful.
plane.
Hold on. We got wolves. We got wolves. Good job, Alex.
There we go. Yep. So there's Nick's plane. But I think for that, we might go do a little fishing.
See, and this is one of the things you got when I was talking before. You have such diverse landscapes, and now you have to come up with what kind of animals would be out here.
Yeah.
Fishing's brand new.
Yep.
What else do you have in terms of everything else that's happening?
I mean, it's, you know, fishing, hunting, giving the player sort of. Far Cry is all about big action all the time, like there's insanity happening every minute. But at the same time, when you talk about Montana, the wildlife, you know, we wanted to give the player the ability to sort of hang out in nature, have a good time, something a little bit more relaxing than just murdering everything.
Always killing everything, worrying about what's going to get you from behind.
So we decided, you know, we're going to throw fishing in. It's a big part of sort of the culture in Montana and culture, you know, just sort of that frontier lifestyle.
It's a way to just come here and decompress, relax,
yeah,
talk it out with your friends.
The minute the fishing went in, everyone became obsessed about it.
Oh,
like
really?
There's fishing tournaments back at the office. We've got a fishing tournament here at PAX. You know, people are trying to catch the biggest fish to win some of the flag pins, and people are going nuts.
Well, it's just, who doesn't love to fish?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, every now and then you want to put down the stick of dynamite and pick up a fishing rod.
Yeah, or throw the stick of dynamite in there and make it easier to get the fish.
Dynamite in the net will travel.
While we chill out here on the riverbank, I've been passed audience questions. Are you guys ready?
Yeah, sure.
Drew, the first one's for you.
Uh-oh.
Bobby writes in and says, what inspired the team to do this one in the USA?
You know, I think bringing Far Cry to the U.S. was something the team's been wanting to do for quite some time.
Yeah.
It just never, it always, the question came back to believability, right?
Sure.
Like, does it make sense? How could you set up Far Cry in the U.S.? So I think it was probably around 3 or 4 years ago that it started in earnest. Okay, we're going to set a Far Cry in the United States. And it just built from there, right? And I think that the sort of the current times that we live in, and the current state of things, all of a sudden Far Cry in the U.S. seems way more believable than
of course, right. There's definitely two sides of it everywhere now, you know what I mean? Was Montana the first and only choice, or what? Did you guys toy around with the idea of a city?
There were a couple different ideas on where to take it, but like I said, the minute the team went to Montana, it was like, oh no, this is it. So, you know, there's some other ideas in the back pocket, but you know, we'll save those for later.
Those went away real quick.
Yeah, it really did.
All right, Martin. VIRAGOXV535 writes in and says, is that your natural vocalization, or did you rehearse to master a priest tone?
What do you think? That's my natural vocalization. It is pretty close to my natural vocalization.
You seem so happy and lucky. Well, you're so happy-go-lucky right now, then.
Yeah, right now. But basically this way. He's a big authoritarian.
Yeah.
I'm the father, so I got to put on that kind of voice from time to time.
Voice. Sure, dad voice comes out.
Oh, absolutely. You got to lay it down.
Yeah.
And Pastor lays it down.
How long have you been laying it down for with your kids?
I've been laying it down for 18 years.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yep.
That is a natural voice to this point. Yeah, you understand.
I just do it.
Yeah. And then for everybody, Lorem Gillespie III writes in and says, do you prep for voice recording with other actors? So is it an ensemble thing, or is it mainly you guys alone?
Most in the booth, it's usually just us alone.
Okay.
I'm in the booth, and somebody's on the other side. Maybe Drew, maybe somebody else. Maybe he's in another city. So he has me say a line 18 million times
and scream like you're on fire.
Exactly.
Just keep
scream like
screaming.
I'm on
I'll
fire.
tell you when to stop.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really easy process.
Yeah.
But we work together when we go to the actual studio. Then I'm going to work with 2 or 3 actors at the same time, and it's kind of like doing a play.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the studios, it's actually
So
a really
Drew,
cool process.
How do you guys capture and record everything? Are you doing it in booth, but when you go somewhere and they're together, are they doing the mocap face
so
stuff?
it's split between sort of like in gameplay stuff. So what we saw when we saw Jerome earlier, that's all VO booth. That's Martin in the booth, sort of just reading a list of lines. The cinematics then are all mocap, right? And we have our big mocap studio in Toronto. Where we suit everyone up in the mocap suits with the little balls and put a giant Vice headset on them and shine
really easy to act in, isn't it?
And then say act natural.
Yeah,
very natural. You don't notice it.
Hey, in your leotard right now, act like a big bad
exactly.
pastor. Here's
yes,
this.
and the leotard that tells no tales. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
Here's this broom handle. It's a shotgun, and go act.
Exactly, and go. Really? Really? In that studio, what did we use for the Bible? It was
like
a block of wood and plastic.
Of wood.
And they're like, no, this is it. This opens
with a
up.
fake gun on the inside.
Yeah.
Well, everything. We spend a lot of time, props or sort of set pieces in the game, making sure that there's stuff that the actors can interact with because they've got all this equipment on. The more things you can give to them that sort of use their imagination to pretend it, the better the performance is going to be.
It brings us down.
But it's got because of all the cameras that you're in the space, everything sort of has to be like a wire version of it because the camera's got to sort of pick up all the data on where the body is at any time.
Final question before I let you guys stop fishing.
Yeah.
Do you do the voice recording separate?
Ones that I've had.
Okay. Well, here we go.
It's tough to wrap that around your head in the booth too. You're like, okay, what am I trying to do? Because usually when you're talking with somebody,
it's a back and
you
forth.
get it. But you're just like, what am I?
Yeah.
Okay, no, I'm motivated. I'm telling him to do this. I'm asking him to do this. I'm begging.
Do you like that challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like any challenge. Anytime I'm uncomfortable, I'm pretty happy. You don't know what's. No, well, that's what we do.
Yeah.
If I'm comfortable all the time, I'm kind of bored.
You're doing something. Yeah.
That's
true.
That's smart.
Then anybody could be doing it.
Right.
I want to be the only guy that should be doing it.
How uncomfortable can I make you?
All
right, what's going on here, Drew? What's going on here?
We're in a plane. We finally took Nick's plane. Yes. First time in Far Cry 5, or first time for Far Cry.
The series, right?
The series, yes, exactly. We're bringing sky combat, big planes, jets. We've got this sort of seaplane here that Nick has given to us. It's got machine guns on it. It's got rockets. You can drop bombs on these little silos. So earlier on, we met Nick, and he was like, "Hey, go blow up these silos."
My wife won't let me go fight the resistance,
I won't do it.
or fight for the resistance.
And so, again, it's sort of the structure of the game, right? Like Nick told us he had this quest for us. And we could have gone, off exploring. The quest is sort of waiting for us,
of course,
to pick it up and go do it.
It's also a great view of like how different what you guys have going in Montana right now.
In this region, it's a lot of farmland. It's a lot of typical stuff that you might see in sort of the countryside. But the topography is way different. Like if you go to the north, it's much more mountainous, much more forest. It feels more. Gameplay-wise, feels maybe kind of more along the lines of like Primal, which it's a lot of hunting, it's a lot of stealth. There's the other regions that
Real quick, I'm sorry. What is this on the left? What is the level?
That is the resistance meter. So again, because it's a non-linear game, we were trying to come up with a way with how do I feel like I'm giving a progression to the game.
Okay.
Right? So we said, okay, from the outset, you're trying to build up your resistance in each region that you find. So as you're meeting people like Mary and Pastor Drum, you're doing quests for them, or you're taking out outposts, what you're doing is you're building your resistance.
Gotcha.
So more people are going to show up to fight on your side.
Okay.
You're going to have more access to new guns for hire to fight alongside you. And at the same time, the cult's going to start to react to like that's how we're sort of inserting our bad guys this time around. Rather than saying, go play this story mission, I'm going out, I'm clearing an outpost. And if that raises my resistance meter to a point where the cult notices me, now all of a sudden the bad guy's going, no, we're not having this.
Interesting. Okay.
They're going to show up and insert themselves into your story.
Now, when I get the plane here, do I have access to it the rest of the game? Can I just run around and use it whenever I want to?
Yeah. You could. You could take this plane fly all the way up to the north, hang out with
So
them,
does
meet
this
those people up
completely
there.
change taking down outposts? Because I feel like now I can just come, if I want to stealth, if I want to do
yes,
whatever.
exactly. So you can take a plane around, you can bomb some guys. But the thing is, because there's a lot more interior space.
This song, yeah! You feel it too, Pax! So, but like, I have the gameplay change of being able to shoot everything and blow it up, which seems awesome. But does the fact that water is a bigger part of it, that trees are a bigger part of it, is there more to it in that respect in terms of how to use the topography?
Yeah, I mean, when you get up to the north, where it's much more mountainous, much more forest, you're going to have a bit more harder time navigating with the plane, right? And trying to, like, all those guys are sort of, hiding out on the bottom of the ground. You're going to have to get on the ground, go a little more hand-to-hand, on foot combat. But here, we wanted to showcase the plane combat. We've got AI that are also flying around. This guy's one of the chosen.
Okay, he's got
the elite soldiers of the cult. They've been trained to defend the cult.
These are the
so
red
there's levels to the cult.
Yeah,
the people I meet on the street aren't the chosen. This guy's super
exactly.
soldier.
So there's cult followers that you'll find.
Gotcha.
But at the same time, there's chosen. There's special elite guys. As you progress through the game, as you build your resistance, the chosen are going to start showing up more and more, and they're much tougher, much more accurate. They've got a lot more tools at disposal to take you down.
And now you put him down on the baseball field. Gamescom demo. This is PAX. This game sucks. That's it. It doesn't even respect where it's at. I can't believe it. Oh my god.
There we go. But that's how you take out the chosen. Nice job.
Good job, Alex. We're very proud of you.
Look at that. What's that?
Far Cry Arcade is a feature inside Far Cry 5. It's free for all of our players. It's really our platform where all of our players can build Far Cry bite-sized experiences and then share them with the community and let everyone play and experience the great user-generated content.
Far Cry Arcade, c'est un mode de jeu dans lequel les joueurs peuvent laisser libre cours à leur créativité. C'est comme dans une arcade en fait, tu n'as aucune idée quel jeu il va y avoir, sur quoi tu vas tomber. Il va tellement y avoir de variété, les possibilités sont infinies. Il va y avoir du single player, co-op et PVP à 12 joueurs. C'est la première fois qu'on amène tous ces modes de jeu-là dans un in-game editor.
You're getting the same kind of gameplay experience that you're used to in the Far Cry campaign, only with a very unique twist. The twist is that the maps are made by our map-making community as well as some official maps by ourselves.
Far Cry Arcade va être l'in-game editor avec le plus d'assets des Far Cry précédents.
We're going to have over 9,000 different objects and items from Far Cry 4, Far Cry Primal, Far Cry 5, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and Assassin's Creed Unity. There's really no restriction on the way that maps can be set up. You could be playing an outpost, but in a city that's halfway underwater. We're very excited to kind of bring all these different worlds together and let them collide in little bite-sized experiences. After we launch the game, we're going to have at least 6 different updates, and in each one we're going to be adding in new objects and items. What it means for players is that you're really experiencing an infinite amount of variety and fun.
There's so many different content available. It's also our job to make sure that the good content is highlighted. That's why we have this game-to-web platform where it will be easier to curate content. You're able to follow other map makers, you're able to favorite some maps. You can make kind of a playlist, basically.
By playing Far Cry Arcade, you can gain money and you can earn perk points, and then you can take those back into the campaign and spend them in the shops and buy the perks that you want to.
We have some very cool DLC coming to Far Cry 5, and basically every time there is a new DLC, there is also a pack of assets from the DLC that will be available for map builders, and for the players that are gonna just play the maps, it's also adding more possibilities of discovering new content, of having more fun.
We are of course going to continue to make more official maps ourselves, and we're going to be running events every Friday night where we kind of rally the community together to come back and to keep playing.
Nous, on fait des jeux avec des règles prédéfinies. Lorsque tu envoies un produit comme l'arcade en ligne, les gens n'ont plus de règles, ils font ce qu'ils veulent, et puis c'est ça qui est merveilleux.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the very last episode of our vlog. What you heard in a previous installment was a letter from a man named Mark. Now, Mark, he comes from Hope County, Montana. That's where we are right now. But he is accusing a group called Eden's Gate of taking control of his town and taking people against their will. Doesn't sound legal.
Are you guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do this.
Do not fear, my son. You will be cleansed of your sins.